Into match day 2 we go with the European qualifiers for the World Cup out in Qatar. Who's got off to a banger, but who's got off to a slow one? We'll take a little look next, and we're not live. Right, folks, back once again with another prediction. Today we'll take a look at the World Cup qualifiers for the European countries, and we'll take a look at match number 2.1, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to get you bang up to date with all things World Cup qualifying related, Blackburn Rovers related, world football related as a whole, boys and girls. We got it all here on the one Roski. Of course, if you did try and watch the live stream, of course, the internet kind of was a bit too shit, a bit too shit for us, so I decided to pull the plug and we'll go pre-recorded. So unfortunately, we're going to have to take a look at that. But anyway, regardless of all that, thank you again for your tremendous response for the predictions in match number 1.1. Great numbers, great to see it. It's been pleasantly adopted by, of course, you guys, because I thought you might think it was a bit too clunky. But I do appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. We'll continue doing that, of course, for the remainder of this qualifying, and of course, we will look to adapt it full board next season with the Premier League and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get in deep in, of course, and take a look at how we all got on last time around. Of course, if you did watch the stream, you might already know, but we're going to go it over just in case you didn't. So here we bloody go, kicking on forward with a look at the back of the pictures. And what we're going to do here, which I did on the live stream as well, is of course bring in some stats and figures. We're going to hopefully expand this a little bit here. Give me a second. So let's get into deep and then shall of course take a little back at, of course, those matches that did take place. Match number 1, part 1. Let's get into deep in now, of course, and of course we'll take a look at how everybody else scores. So here we bloody go, kicking on forward with, of course, Portugal against Azerbaijan, and just a 1-0 win for Portugal in the end. Goal scorers on the day. Who was it? I think it was a big fat OG. It was Maximin Medvedev on the score sheet, of course, giving Portugal the W opening day win for them. And as you can see, the vast majority of us got that one right, with 98.1% of all of us that voted. 105 of us as well get that one bang on the bloody nose. Next up, of course, what do we get? Hang on a minute. What did we get on the second one? Let's kick it on forward into match number 2 of number 2. This one, of course, Serbia against Ireland. Goals galore on this one. 5-goal thriller going in favour of Serbia in the end. 3-2 winners. Goals from Dusan Vlahovic with a goal, of course. Alexander Mitchell goal with a couple of goals as well. Alan Brown, James Collin, either side of those 3 goals for Serbia, giving them a little bit of hope on that one. As you can see on this one here, we got Serbia coming at you. Where is it? Yeah, the majority of us going with Serbia, 65% on that one. Looks like 14% went with, of course, Ireland. 23% went, of course, with the draw. As for me, I actually went the 2-1 win, so not too shabby. Of course, Finland, they drew, of course, with Bosnia. Let's take a look at that one then. Of course, final score was a 2-2. Actually went the 1-1. Again, the vast majority of folks, of course, going with, where are you? 29.5% went with, of course, Bosnia. Of course, 32 went with Finland. 38% went with the draw on this one, just like me. Goal scores, Pico with a brace. Of course, Milan Prejanic. Of course, Miroslav Stavrovic get the goals for, of course, for Bosnia on this one. Next, of course, France had a bit of an upset, really. 1-1 in the end against Ukraine. Griezmann on the score sheet, of course, Penzo Kempembe with a big fat OG. Unfortunately, yeah, France, a slow start for them. And as you can see, the vast majority of us did go with the French on this one. Of course, some smart bugger. 4 of us went with, of course, Ukraine, but unfortunately, 4 guys got with the right one with, of course, the draw. Actually went with a 3-0 win for France, but unfortunately I was wrong. Belgium, though, 3-1 winners over Wales. No problems asked there. Kicking ass and taking names. The Belgians, of course, De Bruyne, Hazard. That's Torgan Hazard, of course, Romelu Lukaku on the score sheet. Of course, Harry Wilson, though, gave the Welsh a bit of hope as they opened up the scoring nice and early. As you can see, the vast majority went with, of course, Belgium, which I did. Of course, some smart bugger, well, not really smart buggers, went with Wales. Die Hard. That's the one I was looking forward. Of course, 7% went with, of course, the draw. Next up, of course, what do we have on this one? We have Estonia against Czech Republic. This one with the goal fest, wasn't it? 8 goals in it in total. Of course, Patrick Schick, Antonian Baric, Jakub Janko, and of course a hat-trick from Tomas Suchek in the end, giving Czech Republic, of course, 6-2 win of Estonia. Goals from Estonia, Bruno Sapinen, of course, Henry Ananane, of course, for the Czechs. Stone cold win there, of course, for the Czechs. On this one, 89% went with them, of course, 8% went, of course, with the draw, and of course, 2%, just 2 folks went with Estonia, but I guess they were wrong. Of course, next up was Gibraltar, of course, played hard ball, of course, with a little bit of Norway, 3-1 3-0 in the end. Soloth, Tholsveld, and of course Svensson on the score sheet, of course, giving Norway the win in a 3-0 win for them. 4-0 for me, not too shabby. Of course, 99% with us, went with Norway. Some wise eye went with a draw. Unfortunately, they were wrong. Next up, of course, what do you have on this one? It is Latvia against Montenegro. End up as a win for Montenegro, 2-1 on the night. Goals from Stevan Jurtovic, former Man City man there, Janis Ukinikonis on the score sheet, of course, of Latvia in a 2-1 win for Montenegro. As you can see, 66% went with, of course, Montenegro, 23% went with a draw, 10% went, of course, with Latvia. But guess what? They were wrong. Next up, we had, of course, Turkey against Netherlands. 6 goals in this one as well. Who thought these were going to be boring? There's some Bobby-dazzling scorelines in here. Goals from, of course, Burko Yamets with a hat-trick as well. Hakan Kaloglu as well, with David Klaas and Luc de Jong getting the goals. So, of course, the Dutchies as they lost. I actually 2-2 draw myself, but unfortunately wrong. 62 folks went with, of course, the Dutchies. That's 60% of the votes. 36 went with the draw, but of course only 7 were happy with, of course, the Turkey win. Meanwhile, Malta against Russia ended up as a 3-1 win for Russia. Goals in the end on this one. Where are you? Where are you, Russia? Of course, coming from, who were they? They got Atam Tsugba, Mario Fernandez, and Alexander Sobolov getting the goals for, of course, Russia. Just a Babong getting the goal for, of course, Malta. Actually with a 3-0 win for Russia. Not too shabby goal. The winners on this one, of course, the vast majority went with, of course, Russia. Somebody went with a draw. A couple of guys went with a draw, but unfortunately they were wrong. Slovenia against Croatia. A big result this for Slovenia. 1-0 in the end. Goal scorer was Sandy Lovric on the score sheet, of course, gives Slovenia the win. A big win for them as well. 77% went for Croatia. 17 folks went with the draw, and just 7 people were smiling with Slovenia in the end. And then wrapping up there, of course, Cyprus against Slovakia with a 0-0 draw was the final score. On that one, 2-1 for me for Slovakia. The vast majority of us went with Slovakia. A couple of people will be celebrating with the draw. 24% of it with a draw. That, my friends, is, of course, the match day number 1, part 1. We'll do it all again, of course, with match number 2 very, very soon. So let's get into the deep end. Of course, take a look at how that looks out in the table. So let's get going. Of course, if your name's Russell Frost, you had a bit of a nightmare, as did Patrick Wack as well. Shepard also didn't do very, very well. Neither did, of course, Connor Smith with a 6. Then we started moving up forward. Matt Gunners with a 7 in there. Jakob Skusk with a 7 as well. Aaron String also with a 7. Caleb Duckworth with a 7. Of course, Sigurd Z with an 8. Then we've got Hans Wurst also with an 8. Gaming Charlie with an 8. And, of course, it's the top echelons here. We've got Stephen Gilead alongside Jordi Miradaj with 9. But, of course, your Kingpins are Master Fighter with 11. Of course, Bruno's up there as well with 10. Dylan and Mike's also up there with 10. Joe Backman with a 10. Of course, Rackham with a 10. As well. That's, of course, the situation at the table. And again, if your pick's not there, then something must have went wrong on your end. I can't fix it. It is, of course, I'm going with what the computer says, and that's why we are opting for the Google Forms. It'll hopefully make things better on my end. But anyway, let's get in, of course, the deep end 4. Of course, match number 2, part 1. And here are those matches. Again, if you're new and you don't know what I'm talking about and you want to get involved, you've got to go to the website up here, which will take you to a Google form, and you can get your picks in nice and early. It's also in the description down below. And if you want to wait a little bit longer until the completion of my picks, there'll be a QR code so you can take a picture if you're watching this on a bigger screen. So here we blow. Let's kick it. Well, here we bloody go. That's what I mean. Of course, kicking it off with, of course, Ireland up against, of course, Luxembourg. Play each other never, of course, the recent ever. Of course, to my knowledge, of course, heading into this though, of course, Ireland on the back of a 6-game losing run, or a winless run, should I say, losing 4 of the past 5. Their only positive was a draw against Bulgaria. Again, they did break the hoodoo of failing to score into the new manager, but they did get a couple of goals against Serbia, which showed a bit of fight. But they did lose their opening game against Serbia, which was a difficult one. I didn't expect them to win them anyway, but these are the games they must win. Must win their home games. As for Luxembourg, of course, they used to be chief whipping boys, but they're getting better slowly but surely. They come into this just 2 defeats in the last 5 games for them, losing to, of course, Austria in a friendly, of course, losing to Cyprus in the Nations League. They come into this on the back of a draw back in, of course, November in the Nations League, and again, they've yet to get going in the old World Cup qualifying. As for the bookies odds, they will go with, of course, Luxembourg on this. No, they won't. They'll go with Ireland. Yes, they will. Of course, 94 on 4, of course, Ireland. Stone Cold Favorite. 7-1 is your draw. 3-1 is your draw. 7-1 is your long shots. That's Luxembourg. For me, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to go with Ireland on this one with 3 goals as well. Of course, hopefully get them moving in the right direction. Next, of course, we have Serbia up against Portugal in the same bloody group. Let's get into this one then, shall we? Of course, play each other in the last 6. 3 wins for Portugal, 3 draws, and nothing for Serbia. Last round in Serbia was a 4-2 win for Portugal back in, of course, September 2019. William Carvalho, Gonçalo Guedes, and of course, Cristiano Ronaldo with Bernardo Silva on the score sheet, of course, Portugal. Nikola Milenkovic, and of course, Alexander Mitro goal, getting the goals, of course, for Serbia in a 4-2 win. Portugal defeated in the 13 last 14 matches in the World Cup qualifying. Also, they've also conceded. Serbia conceded those 2 goals in the last 3 matches. Portugal, they're undefeated in the last 6 matches against Serbia in all comps. Heading into this, just 1 defeat in the past 6 games for Portugal against France in the Nations League. 1-0 loss. However, they come into this on the back of a win against Azerbaijan, kicking their campaign off to a win. As for, of course, Serbia coming into this on the back of back-to-back wins, beating Russia in the course of the Nations League, also beating Ireland 3-2 2 winners in the end. Did I give you the bookies odds? I don't think so. Bookies odds on this one, what do we have? We have, of course, Serbia 15-4 for the victory. 11-4 is your draw. 10-7 on is your Portugal. For me, difficult one this one. Going to go with the right down the middle. Point split, right down the middle. 1-1 in the end. Which will keep them both undefeated, as of course they head into match day number 3. Next, of course, with Belarus. Taking on, of course, Estonia, of course. Let's get into this one then, shall we? Hang on a minute. Computers loading. Computers thinking about it. Of course, both of these two sides come into the back of this. Underdogs, vastly underdogs for the group as a whole. Played each other, though, in the last 4 matches. 2 wins for Belarus, 1 for Estonia. And, of course, 1 draw last round in Belarus. There was a 0-0 draw back in October 2019 in the Euro qualifying campaign. However, Belarus, though, losing 6 of the last 7 matches in World Cup qualifying. And they come into this. Belarus, just 2 wins and 2 defeats in the past 4 games. Beating the likes of Kazakhstan and Lithuania in recent times, of course, losing to Romania and, of course, Albania also in the last 4 matches. As for Estonia, they come into this without a win in 6, picking up 3 draws and 3 defeats, though, losing to the likes of Italy, North Macedonia, and, of course, the Czech Republic in the last 4 games. So not very good form at the moment. Look at the bookies odds on this one. Belarus 4-1 on for the victory. Stone Cold favourite 7-2 is your draw. 12-1 is your long shots. For me on this one, again, tight one, but I'm going to go with just a narrow win in favour of Belarus to get themselves a 1-0 win. 3 points in the bag. Next up, of course, we have the Czechs taking on, of course, Belgium, of course. Played each other the last 6 times. 3 wins for Belgium, 2 for Czech Republic, and 1 draw. Last round into Czech Republic was a 3-1 win for the Czechs back in August 2009. That's right, with Robin Hubnic, Milan Baros, and of course David Rosno on the score sheet. Of course, Jan Vertonghen in the goal scoring sheet for, of course, Belgium. That was pre-Golden Generation days. Of course, Belgium, though, winning 11 last 12 matches in the World Cup qualifying, also scoring at least 2 goals in 10 last 12 matches as well. The Czechs, though, winning the last 3 matches in FIFA World Cup, and they come into this winning 3 on the spin as well, beating the likes of Israel, of course, Slovakia, and of course Estonia just the other day. As for Belgium, 5-game winning round for them, beating the likes of Iceland, Switzerland, England, Denmark, and of course Wales just the other day. Look at the bookies odds on this one. The Czechs coming at you 17-4 for the victory. 5-3 on is your Belgians. 3-1 is your draw. For me, going to go with a 3-1 for Belgium on this one, but it could easily be an unbeaten game for both the Czechs, and it could be a draw. That's what I'm saying. It could be a draw. Next up, of course, Montenegro taking, of course, the chief whipping boys. That is, of course, Gibraltar. They've not played each other in the history ever, so that'll be the first occasion. But they come into this, though, Gibraltar losing the last 11 matches in the World Cup qualifying. They've also conceded at least 3 goals in 10 last 12, 11 matches as well, and they come into this on the back of a 4-game winless run. The last time they won was against Liechtenstein in the Nations League back in, of course, the 10th of the 10th, 2020. As for Montenegro, just 1 defeat past 6 for them. That 1 defeat was against Luxembourg in Montenegro, so they'll fancy the chances to get something out of this game, of course. Heading into this, the bookies odds on this one. Montenegro 12-1 on for the victory, 9-1 is your draw, 20-1 is your long shot / Gibraltar. Gibraltar, for me, will be lucky to get much, if any, points out of this one. I've gone with a 3-0 for Montenegro, 3 points in the bag, and guess what? Keep moving the chains. Next, of course, Norway against Turkey. Of course, Turkey with a fantastic start. Norway also up and running as well. Played each other the last 4, 1 win apiece, 2 draws last round, and of course, Norway was a 2-1 win for Turkey back in 2007. Oh my goodness. Eric Hagen on the score sheet, Emre and Nick Kavicic on the score sheet, of course, for Turkey back in the day. Though Norway have kept a clean sheet in the last 3 matches in the FIFA World Cup qualifying, also winning the last 3 as well. Turkey, though, conceded at least 2 goals in the last 3 matches in the FIFA World Cup. As of right here, right now, coming into this, just 1 defeat past 6 games for Turkey. That was against Hungary in the Nations League. They do come into this though on the back of a 6-goal win by Bobby Dazzler, 4-2 win over the Dutch. As for Norway, they come into this on the back of a losing once in the past 5. That 1 defeat was against Norway, against Romania in the Nations League, but they come into this on the back of a 3-0 win over Gibraltar. Look at the bookies odds. We have 30-10 for Norway, of course, 11-5 is your draw, 29-10 is your Turkey. Going to go with a 2-1 win for Norway on this one. Again, Turkey must bank on their home form, as do Norway. I think Norway will take this one with a 2-1 win in the end. Must-win game already, though, for the Dutchies. They don't want to get off to a bad start. Three times, though, they played Latvia in the past, and they won each and every one of them. Last time around, though, in the Dutchlands was a 6-0 win for, of course, the Nederlander. Goal scorers were Van Persie on the score sheet, Aaron Robben with a couple of goals there, Jeffrey Boomer as well, of course, Klaus Jan Huntelaar with a couple of goals as well. Of course, heading into this, though, Netherlands keeping a clean sheet in the last 3 matches against Latvia and all comps. They've also won those last 3 matches against Latvia and all comps. They come into this, though, 1 defeat the past 6 games. That 1 defeat was against Turkey just the other day. Meanwhile, Latvia come into this just 2 defeats of the past 6. Of course, 1 defeat the past 4. That 1 defeat was against Montenegro just the other day as well. Of course, look at the bookies odds. The Dutchies are 40-1 on. Stone Cold favourite, 16-1 is your draw, 28-1 is your Latvia on this one. Again, Netherlands need to get a response, and a quick one at that. Got to go with a 3-0 for the Dutchies to get back to winning ways, and of course head into match day 3 with a bit of a bounce. And next, of course, we have Russia taking, of course, Slovenia. Played each other 4 times in recent years. Just 1 win for the Russians, of course, 2 wins for Slovenia, and of course 1 draw last time around. Of course, in Russia was a 2-1 win for Russia back in 2009. That was back in November, of course, in the World Cup qualifying. Of course, Dimina Belatiani the ending of on the score sheet with a couple of goals there. Ex-Everton man, I think. Nick on the score sheet, of course, for Slovenia back in the day. Of course, heading into this, Slovenia unbeaten in the last 6. They look very, very good at the moment, winning 4 and drawing 2 of the last 6 games, beating, of course, Croatia last time around. Of course, Russia coming to this on the back of a win themselves, beating Malta in Malta to get themselves up and running. Look at the bookies odds on this one. What do we have on this one? We have Russia 10-7 on for the victory, 5-2 is your draw, 17-4 is your Slovenia. Slovenia will fancy the chances to get something out of this, but I think Russia will take it with a 2-0 win at the end. Into the final 2, we've got Croatia up against Cyprus. Must-win game already for Croatia after their shock defeat to Slovenia. Played just the one time in the recent years, of course, back in 2014. It was a friendly, it was a 2-0 win for Croatia, and it was in Croatia. Mario Mandzukic with a couple of goals there in the end for Croatia. Croatia, they're failing to win the last 5 matches in the FIFA World Cup. That includes the final, I suspect. Heading into this one, though, just 1 win in the past 6 games for Cyprus up against Luxembourg. Meanwhile, without a win in 5, that's Croatia, of course, losing 4 and just drawing the once. Of course, losing the likes of France, Sweden, Portugal, and of course Slovenia, which make it a very, very difficult scenario for Croatia heading into the Euros as well. Look at the bookies odds on this one. We have Croatia. This is probably prime time to make a bet on this one. 8-1 on is your Croatia, 50-2 is your draw, 60-1 is your Cyprus. For me, though, Croatia will nick this one 3-0 comfortably in the end. And then wrap it up is Slovenia. Is it Slovakia up against Malta? Yes, it will. Of course, played for the last 4 times. Of course, 4 wins for Slovakia, nothing for Malta. And of course, last time around in Slovakia, it was a 3-0 win back in October 2017. And Nemec with a couple of goals there. Unada Duda on the score sheet, of course, for Slovakia back in the day. Malta have actually lost the 14 last 15 matches in the World Cup, conceding at least 2 goals in the last 13 last 15 matches as well. Coming into this, though, just 1 defeat the past 6 games for Malta. That was against Russia just the other day. As for Slovakia, sorry. 1 defeat the past 5 for them. That was against 1 win of the past 5 for them. That was against Scotland in the Old Nations League. They come into this on the back of a draw against Cyprus. Bookies odds on this one. What do we have on this one? We have 8-1 on for Slovakia. 50-2 is your draw. Of course, 60-1 is your Malta on this one. I've gone with a 2-1 win for Slovakia on this one. And if you want to get yourselves in there in the old prediction league, get in the old description. There is a link. It's also on the screen right here and now. That's where you go to get your picks in nice and early. But until then, though, make sure you smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, and we'll do it all again, of course, for match number 2. Part 2 when that comes around, of course, shortly after the final whistles there. But that, my friends, is pretty much all I've got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash your thumbs up. In fact, go back. If you are on the big screen, you can take a picture of this. Of course, and it will send you directly to the old place where you get your votes in and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you get your picks in nice and early, and we'll do it all again very, very soon. But until then, though, thanks for watching. Please sure to give the video some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. Check out the links down below on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon if you want to support the channel in another way. That's the best place to do it. But I'll also be sure to check out the prediction link right in the description. Until then, though, I'll see you all soon. Mask up, 6 feet and all that kind of stuff, and see you all next time for some more Europa Qualifiers predictions. Until then, I'm out.